All right, guys, we are going to be reacting to 20 things you didn't know were invented by Germans. Like, jump in.
There's a country in the heart of Europe where precision isn't just a habit, it's a way of life. Where engineering is practically a national sport. And where some of the most groundbreaking ideas in human history were born in laboratories, workshops, and even small attic pharmacies. What's fascinating is that most people have no idea just how much Germany has shaped the world we live in today. Behind some of the most ordinary everyday objects is a story of German ingenuity that rarely gets told. Most people think of Germany and picture castles, beer festivals, and fast cars on the Autobahn. What they don't realize is that their morning routine, their commute, and even the music streaming through their headphones all trace back to German inventors. Some of these creations became so woven into daily life that we forgot they had an origin at all. Others are so unexpected that people genuinely refuse to believe they came from Germany. Once you learn the hidden history behind these inventions, you start to see just how much one country has influenced the entire planet. And that's where things get really interesting, because the first invention on this list is one you've probably already used today without even thinking about it. Let's start with something so fundamental that billions of people interact with it every single day: the printing press. In the 1440s, a German blacksmith and goldsmith named Johannes Gutenberg changed the course of human history by creating the first mechanical movable type printing press. Before Gutenberg, books had to be copied by hand, making them rare, expensive, and available only to the wealthy elite. His invention made mass production of books possible, spreading knowledge across continents and helping to ignite the Renaissance, the Reformation, and the Scientific Revolution. Time Life magazine later named it the most important invention of the second millennium. And every book, newspaper, or printed material you have ever touched owes its existence to a workshop in Mainz, Germany, nearly 600 years ago. But Gutenberg's invention was just the beginning, because Germans didn't stop at spreading knowledge. They also found ways to move people.
Man, this looks very cool. You guys know that?
1886, Karl Benz patented what is widely considered the first true automobile, powered by an internal combustion engine. His three-wheeled vehicle, the Benz patent Motorwagen, was the blueprint for every car that followed. Around the same time, Gottlieb Daimler and Wilhelm Maybach were developing their own motorized carriage. At first, locals in Germany were not impressed. They complained it was too loud, too fast, and too dangerous. Today, however, Germany remains the birthplace of some of the world's most prestigious car brands. And that first gasoline-powered vehicle changed transportation forever. Now, here's where things start getting surprising, because not every German invention came from a laboratory. Some came from frustration in the kitchen. In 1908, a German housewife named Melita Benz grew tired of drinking bitter, grainy coffee. So she did what any determined problem solver would do. She punched holes in a brass pot, lined it with a piece of blotting paper from her son's school notebook, and invented the coffee filter. Her simple idea became the foundation of the Melita Company, which still produces coffee filters and brewing systems today. Every pour-over coffee you've ever enjoyed started with a woman in Dresden who just wanted a better cup of coffee.
And you know what's crazy?
Everyday
it looks so logical. It looks extremely logical. Like, you don't want grains in your coffee, just have something that can just filter some of those grains. It looks so logical, but I can guarantee you nobody was thinking about that back then.
Let's talk about something you put in your mouth every morning: toothpaste. In 1907, a German pharmacist named Ottomar von Meyenberg was working in his small attic laboratory in Dresden when he created Chlorodont, a peppermint-flavored paste that combined calcium carbonate, soap, and other ingredients into a smooth formula. He filled flexible metal tubes with his invention and sold it to customers at his pharmacy. Within years, the product spread across the world and gave dental hygiene a proper place in our daily routines.
Wow.
Before him, people were using powders, charcoal, and even crushed bones to clean their teeth.
I know charcoal, they still use it in today's I still use a charcoal toothpaste, so it's very good, by the way.
Meyenberg made it pleasant. But German inventors did not just improve our mornings. They revolutionized how we see the world, literally. In 1895, German physicist Wilhelm Conrad Röntgen was experimenting with cathode rays when he stumbled upon something extraordinary. He discovered a new type of radiation that could pass through solid objects and create images of bones inside the human body.
That's funny.
He called them X-rays because X represents the unknown in mathematics. Röntgen's discovery transformed medicine,
X-rays.
allowing doctors to see inside patients without surgery. For this, he received the very first Nobel Prize in Physics in 1901. Every time you get an X-ray at the hospital, you are experiencing a discovery made by accident in a German laboratory. And while Röntgen was peering inside the human body, another German was revolutionizing what we could see at the microscopic level. In 1931, German physicist Ernst Röske and engineer Max Knoll built the first electron microscope. Unlike traditional optical microscopes, which are limited by the wavelength of light, electron microscopes use beams of electrons to magnify objects up to 10 million times. This invention opened up an entirely new world, allowing scientists to study viruses, atoms, and cell structures in unprecedented detail. Modern biology, medicine, and material science owe a tremendous debt to this German breakthrough. Now, let us take a sharp turn, because the next invention is something children around the world absolutely adore.
The gummy bears.
Gummy bears. In
My kids love them.
1922, a German confectioner named Hans Riegel from
And gummy
Bonn.
bears actually are very good after a post-workout. If you've been lifting weight for quite some time, you know that I don't know what kind of material they consume, that it makes it easier for the muscles to just get some of those nutrients that are in the gummy bears. I forgot how they
Created
call it.
small, chewy, fruit-flavored
And if you're feeling kind of fatigued, if you're hitting like leg days, a very heavy day, if you're feeling kind of fatigued, you eat one or two gummy bears, you will jump right back.
candies shaped like dancing bears. He named his company Haribo, a clever combination
Haribo.
of his name and his hometown, Hans
Haribo.
Riegel Bonn. Haribo's gummy bears became a worldwide sensation, and by the 1990s, Haribo was producing more than 70 million gummy bears
Wow.
every single day. What started as a small candy shop in Germany became a global phenomenon that still brings joy to millions. But Germany's contributions to
Kindergarten.
childhood go far deeper than candy. The entire concept of kindergarten was invented by a German educator named Friedrich Froebel in 1837. Before Froebel, there was no formal education system for children under 7. He believed that young children learned best through play and activity, so he created a new type of school he called a kindergarten, a name that translates as children's garden. His philosophy was that children should be nurtured like plants in a garden, allowed to grow naturally with guidance and care. Today, kindergartens exist in virtually every country on Earth, shaping how billions of children take their first steps into education. Now,
That's very
here's an
good.
invention that might genuinely shock you. That orange soda you've probably enjoyed at parties, Fanta, was created in Germany during World War II. When trade embargoes prevented Coca-Cola's German branch from importing the syrup needed to make Coke, the head of German operations, Max Keith, had to improvise. Using whatever ingredients were available, including whey from cheese production and apple fiber from cider presses, his team created a new beverage. During a brainstorming session, Keith told his employees to use their imagination, the German word fantasy. A salesman named Joe Knippa immediately shouted
Knippa.
Fanta. By 1943, 3 million cases had been sold in Germany. After the war, Coca-Cola reformulated and relaunched Fanta in Italy in 1955 as the orange soda we know today. And speaking of things you would
I mean,
never
very
guess,
good. Yeah, very good, by the way. Very good. My brother used to love Fanta. grape flavor.
came from Germany. Let's
Of
talk
course, the
about
one that we have here in the United States. Probably the one in Europe might taste a little bit
blue
different.
jeans. The quintessentially American item of clothing was actually created by a German immigrant named Levi Strauss. Born in Bavaria in 1829, Strauss emigrated to the United States and eventually settled in San Francisco during the Gold Rush. In 1873, he partnered with tailor Jacob Davis to patent work pants reinforced with metal rivets, creating what would become the most iconic clothing item in history. Blue jeans went from workwear for miners and laborers to a global fashion statement. And it all started with a Bavarian immigrant who saw an opportunity. But German ingenuity did not just change what we wear, it changed how we experience music. In the 1980s, researchers at the Fraunhofer Institute in Germany developed the MP3 format, a revolutionary way to compress audio files without losing significant quality. Karl-Heinz Brandenburg and his team created a
But it took some time to just get into the market. You guys see it?
technology that would completely transform the music industry. Suddenly, entire music collections could fit on small devices. The MP3 paved the way for iPods,
I remember that. Wow.
streaming services, and the way we consume music today.
I
Every
remember
song
that.
you have ever downloaded or streamed exists in part because of German audio engineers who figured out how to squeeze music into tiny files. And while we are talking about technology that changed entertainment, Germans played a crucial role in the invention of television itself. In 1884, a 23-year-old German student named Paul Nipkow patented an electric telescope that used a spinning disc with a spiral pattern of holes to scan images.
Wow.
This Nipkow disc became the foundation for mechanical television systems. Meanwhile,
wow.
German physicist Karl Ferdinand Braun
I have to say,
invented
this
the
is one of the
cathode
best videos that I have seen so far regarding German inventions. I know it's a little AI-ish, but it's one of the best
ray
so far.
tube in 1897, which became the basis for television screens for decades. The first regular television service in the world, launched in Berlin in 1935, was even named Fernsehsender Paul Nipkow in his honor. Every television broadcast that followed owes something to these German pioneers.
Wow.
Now, here is one that is hiding in plain sight.
Wristwatch, really?
The wristwatch as we know it evolved from portable clocks, first created in German lands. Around 1510, a German locksmith named Henlein from Nuremberg began crafting small, spring-driven timepieces that could be worn as pendants or carried on the body. These Nuremberg eggs, as they were sometimes called, were the forerunners of pocket watches and eventually wristwatches. Henlein's achievement was remarkable miniaturization, fitting complex mechanisms into cases small enough to carry. Every time you check the time on your wrist, you are using a technology that traces back to a German craftsman over 500 years ago. Speaking of things you do every day, aspirin was developed by a German company. In 1897, chemist Felix Hoffmann, working for Bayer in Germany, synthesized axial salicylic acid in a stable form that could be taken as medicine. He was trying to find something to help his father's arthritis pain without the harsh side effects of existing treatments. The result was aspirin, one of the most widely used medications in history. It treats pain, reduces fever, prevents heart attacks and strokes, and remains in medicine cabinets around the world more than a century later. And aspirin isn't the only medical breakthrough from Germany. The entire field of bacteriology owes its existence to German scientist Robert Koch. In 1870, when a mysterious disease was killing livestock across Europe, Koch discovered that bacteria were the cause. He went on to isolate the bacteria responsible for tuberculosis and cholera, fundamentally changing how we understand and treat infectious diseases. His work earned him a Nobel Prize and established the germ theory of disease that modern medicine is built upon.
You know what's crazy? That reminds me during the American Civil War, right? You can watch Glory. There's a scene right at the beginning of the movie where one of the generals go to, I don't even know how to call this, the emergency area where they trying to take care of the wounded um soldiers, and these people are using the same, they're not cleaning everything, they're just chopping people off, they're just cutting people's legs like this, just meat, like a meat grinder. And none of these people really knew simple how can I say this, they didn't understand the concept of cleanness, I will say, like uh bacteria, viruses. They didn't. They didn't. They just they putting their tools in a bucket with a lot of blood and stuff like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, people didn't really understand how bacteria were inside how bacteria and viruses worked by then. And the fact that we have technology like this today, thanks to the Germans, it says a lot of how far we have moved from very primitive thinking.
Let's lighten things up with a holiday tradition. The Christmas tree, as we know it, originated in Germany. While decorated trees had existed in various forms, the tradition of bringing an evergreen tree indoors and decorating it for Christmas spread from Germany in the 15th and 16th centuries. German immigrants brought the custom to America, and in 1889, the first Christmas tree was set up in the White House.
Wow.
Today, decorated Christmas trees are found in homes, town squares, and shopping centers around the world, all tracing back to German households centuries ago. And while we're on holidays, the Easter Bunny also has German roots. The tradition of an Easter hare bringing eggs to children was first mentioned in German texts in the 1600s. Wow. The story evolved from a children's game of hiding eggs, in which a rabbit was said to judge whether children had been good during the year. German immigrants brought this tradition to America, where it transformed into the Easter Bunny we know today. Here is an invention that powered the industrial world, the diesel engine. Rudolf Diesel was born to Bavarian German parents in Paris. He spent years researching thermal efficiency before creating his revolutionary engine in the 1890s. Diesel engines are more fuel efficient than their gasoline counterparts.
100%. 100%. You can put diesel in a truck and it can last you weeks.
Essential for trucks, ships, trains, and industrial machinery. The global transportation and shipping industry runs largely on technology created by a German engineer over a century ago. And if we are talking about transportation, we cannot forget the bicycle. In 1817, German inventor Karl von Drais created the Laufmaschine, or running machine, the first two-wheeled human-propelled vehicle. It had no pedals, and riders pushed themselves along with their feet, but it was the direct ancestor of the modern bicycle. The French
comfortable this is, man.
Added pedals, but the original concept came from a German baron looking for a better way to get around. Now here's one that medical professionals rely on every day. The electroencephalogram, or EEG, which measures electrical activity in the brain, was invented by German psychiatrist Hans Berger in 1924. He discovered alpha waves and created a tool that would become essential for diagnosing epilepsy, sleep disorders, and brain injuries. Every time doctors monitor brain activity, they are using technology pioneered by a German scientist nearly a century ago.
Wow.
And finally, let's end with something that connects all of us in the modern world. The first working computer was created by a German engineer named Konrad Zuse. In 1941, working in isolation in wartime Berlin, Zuse built the Z3, the first fully functional programmable digital computer. His machine used binary code and could perform complex calculations that would have taken humans hours.
Wow.
Unfortunately, the Z3 was destroyed in a bombing raid in 1945, but Zuse's work laid the groundwork for the digital age. Every computer, smartphone, and tablet traces its lineage back to a German inventor who hated doing math and decided to build a machine to do it for him.
Isn't that funny? He hated to do math. That's crazy.
20 inventions.
That's crazy. Man, I just hate math. Let me just create something that is gonna just help me do math, but I need to put math on this thing. Like, it's crazy, right? He hated math, therefore let me just invent something that can give me math while I'm just giving them the knowledge of math. Isn't that crazy? Huh. Crazy, man. But this alone, this revolutionized the modern world and what we knew today of the modern computer. Wow, very good inventions, man. I'm always appreciative. And we didn't even mention music. Music enough. Music enough will probably be like 40 things that Germans contribute to music or something like that, because they contribute a lot, man. A lot. Let me know what you guys think. I will see you next one.